There's a big Republican, I'm going to call it a cattle call, Americans for Prosperity. That's a Republican group, the conservative group, funded largely by the Koch brothers. A lot of the Republican wannabes for 2016 were there. Listen to two of them here criticizing the president when it comes to foreign policy.
The deepening chaos in Iraq and Syria and Gaza and Ukraine, all clear and compelling evidence the world needs a president who is not one step behind, who is lurching from crisis to crisis, who is always playing catch-up.
You look at Russia right now. Sadly, the state of the world is the Russian bear is encountering the Obama kitty cat.
The two Texans there, the Governor Rick Perry, the Senator Ted Cruz. We'll talk a lot about those two heading into 2016. But you listen to that red meat, their criticism from the Republicans, but it's not just the Republicans. This is not anywhere near as impolite, you might say, or as tough. But listen to Dianne Feinstein, Democrat, chairwoman of the Senate Intelligence Committee.
I think I've learned one thing about this president, and that is he's very cautious. Maybe in this instance, too cautious.
She's talking about his response to ISIS in Iraq, too cautious, essentially saying she agrees with John McCain and Lindsey Graham.
Absolutely. I mean, there's this very interesting coalescing of opinions about the president's foreign policy between Republicans and Democrats. They're using different language, but it comes down to maybe he is being too cautious on Russia, on ISIS, on other crises around the world. And the question for him, though, is how does he respond? Because he has always responded by saying, I am doing what the American people want me to do. And yet when you look at polling on foreign policy, his ratings are going down. So how does he respond if both his allies on Capitol Hill and the American public might be changing their views?
The American public, Jonathan, doesn't want to put boots on the ground anywhere, doesn't want to invest in big military adventures anywhere, but at the same time, you do see in the recent Pew survey, they seem discouraged that America can't do more, doesn't have more influence, can't fix these things.
Yeah, that's the frustration out there, I think, of a lot of folks with this president is that they see him as somebody who is representing the country at a time when the country is seemingly not the power that it once was and does not have the ability to control world events the way it once did. Scholars will question how much we actually could, but still that's the perception nowadays. Politically, it adds up to a tough time for this president. The summer's events at home and abroad have combined to sort of keep his numbers down, and that's what has Democrats so concerned, is that it was one thing after another. It's Labor Day, here we are. His numbers are in the 40s. In some of these John swing states, his numbers are below the 40s. It's a big, big problem for Democrats.
It is. The best thing they have going to counter that is the Republican brand is still in the tank, so we'll watch this one play out.